Hi guys! How to use good verbs while speaking in English? Or how to speak smartly? Rather, I should say, how to change your way of speaking. If you are also thinking about all this, as many of us generally do, then today in this video you will get that smart technique. If you've seen some people around you speaking so fluently and using some advanced vocabulary, you must have been impressed by the way they speak. And you'd be like, how to improve vocabulary in English? Or how can I improve my English vocabulary like that person or like that teacher? Well, there is a very simple solution to be smart mouth in English. Those people who have inspired you or have impressed you definitely have a good collection of words with them. Now, what are these words and what is that area of vocabulary that you need to focus on? In any language, or let's talk about English language here, there are evidently 3 parts of speech where we need to put our maximum attention and we need to keep it updated time to time. What are these words? They are adjectives, adverbs, and conjunctions. I'm sure you're already familiar with these words. If you've noticed what I've just said, you've already got the key term of this video by now. And if you watch this video till end, this video is going to be a game changer for you. I just told you about these parts of speech in English language. However, we limit our today's video to advanced adjectives in English language. Needless to say, adjectives are that magical part of a language that can make you sound smart and intelligent while talking. All those famous public speakers and influencers are using these words to communicate effectively. Hi guys, this is Nidhi, your English language coach. We are running this 21-day spoken English challenge on our channel and this is day 6 of this course. Today I'm going to give you a list of high-level common words, or you can say smart words in English with meanings that, if added in your vocabulary or if used instead of other basic words, will definitely help you to come across in a very intelligent manner. Again, will help you to change your way of speaking. If you see any word for the first time and you think it would be cool to use that, then pause the video and write it down and then continue playing the video. Also, watch the video till the very end so that you don't miss anything and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope you'll enjoy the video. There are a lot of words that we use in our daily life. For example, good or bad or nice. Today we'll change all of them. So the first word being very good. Anything that impresses us, you simply say it's very good. How's the dress? Very good. How's the house? Very good. Why don't we find a new word to use? Well, you can say the word astonishing. Astonishing. This adjective is used for the things or ideas which are extremely surprising or impressive for you. As in, you can even wish someone saying, "May you have an astonishing career ahead." Now the next word is so noisy. So noisy. And you can replace it with the word deafening. Deafening. Okay? So the word deafening itself has come from the word deaf. That means it's so noisy that you can't even listen anything else. So it completely makes you deaf. Hence we have the word deafening. Now how will you use this in a sentence? You can say, there was a deafening sound that echoed throughout the room. So don't use the word so noisy. In place of so noisy, you can use deafening. Next word, very angry. At times we get angry with our friends and people because of their behavior, or maybe they have done something wrong that we didn't like, so we get angry, right? So very angry is a very common word, but in place of very angry, the word which you can use is furious. Furious. So you can say, your behavior always makes me furious. Stop behaving like this, you're making me furious. Yeah? Isn't it a better word to use? Next is very bad. Tell me, how many times in a day you say very bad? A lot of times, right? Now let's replace the word very bad with the word awful. Awful. Okay? How would you use this word? Suppose you went to a party and your experience there was bad. Obviously, you would say, I had a very bad experience in the party. So in place of very bad, you would say, I had an awful experience in the party. Yes, this is the power of adjectives. Next word is so poor. So poor. When you see people in a bad condition, you kind of say like they are so poor, right? So in place of the word so poor, you can say destitute. Destitute. The flood left thousands of people destitute. This one is a very interesting word to enrich your vocabulary. And now we'll move on to the next word, that is so clean. How do you feel when you see everything around you is so clean? Yeah, so the other word for that word can be spotless, right? So if you see something is very clean, that means it's spotless. So in place of saying very clean, you can say spotless. The house was bright and absolutely spotless. The word seems so simple and easy, but how many of you are really using it? You don't use it, right? So start using it from now. Now the next word is so difficult. When you have some task that is difficult for you, you tend to say, it's so difficult. I can't do that. It's so difficult. So in place of difficult, you can use the word arduous. Arduous. The spelling is A-R-D-U-O-U-S and we pronounce it as arduous. Okay? If you're following American accent, you can pronounce it as arduous. Arduous. Okay? You have to put stress on R and a bit of J sound would come there. So you can say arduous. But if you're following British accent, then you would say arduous. Okay? So it would be arduous. If you're given a task and you feel it's very tough and difficult, you would say the task is more arduous than I thought. The next word is really upset. I'm really upset today. So in place of the word really upset, you can say distraught. Distraught. I personally like this word and I literally use this in my conversation. She sounded absolutely distraught when I met her. I'm sure you would like to add on this word in your dictionary. Now we'll move on to the next word, that is very cold. Okay? When you feel cold, how do you express yourself? I'm sure you'd say, I'm feeling so cold today, right? So in place of the word so cold or very cold, you can use freezing. Freezing. Let's see this example. In the Antarctic, the temperature rarely rises above freezing point. Freezing point, very cold point. Now the next word, that is very dirty. Very dirty. Do you like seeing dirty clothes and dirty people around you? Well, what a silly question because nobody likes it. You should straight away tell them to change their clothes if they are dirty. So use the word filthy in place of very dirty. Okay? You can say, why don't you change your shirt? It looks filthy. Now the next word, very easy. Very easy. I'm sure you use it a lot of time in your conversation. I'll tell you a fancy word in place of very easy. You can say effortless. Effortless. Anything that's easy is not taking your effort, so it's effortless. I personally like this word and it's quite fancy for me. You can use it in this way. Whenever I watch her dance, it looks effortless. So her dance style is effortless. Guys, I prepared a list of 50 advanced adjectives with their meanings, correct pronunciation and examples that you can learn and can improve your vocabulary. You can get that list on my website, that is mevinglish.com. I'll add the link of that website in the description box. Now your turn. Tell me which is your favorite adjective out of all that we learned today. Write that in the comment section. And if you want me to post more words like these, do let me know in the comment section and I'll definitely make a full video on these advanced adjectives. For now, I'll sign off from this session and will meet you guys again with a new topic in my next lesson. Till then, bye.